Hello, my friends. Hey, real estate family. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Sonia's Real Estate Connection and Hot Topics, all things real estate related on this channel. So glad that you could join with me on today. On February 10th, 2026, the Wisconsin Realtors Association, otherwise referred to as the WRA, held its annual Realtor and Government Day in Madison, Wisconsin, at the state capitol in the great state of Wisconsin. For those of you who may not be familiar with this event, it is an annual event where realtors and real estate professionals come together and meet at the state capitol to advocate for real estate business and issues affecting the real estate communities statewide. It's also an opportunity for realtors to advocate on behalf of their clients and customers, and for realtors from all over the state of Wisconsin to connect and meet with state legislators, representatives, and lawmakers in person to make their voices heard on key issues and topics that directly impact the real estate industry. So on February 10th, 2026, the WRA held its annual Realtor and Government Day in Madison, also referred to as RGD. There were many featured and distinguished guests that spoke, including the governor of Wisconsin, Governor Tony Evers, who attended this event and spoke very briefly, and various other distinguished guests and speakers who presented highlights and information concerning the current state of Wisconsin housing and real estate market, and some things that we can do to help address some of these pressing issues. Today, I'll share with you some of the highlights from the 2026 RGD, Realtor and Government Day, and the state of Wisconsin housing real estate. All right, folks, without further ado, let's jump right into it. We have a lot to dive into. Housing affordability and the lack of housing supply continue to be at the forefront of the issues. Wisconsin is still running short on the housing supply with low inventory and increased home prices. Now, according to the WRA's State of Wisconsin Real Estate Market Report for the month of December 2025, the existing home sales were up 4.4%, and the median price increased 2.5% to $312,750. New listings were down almost 6%. So again, that's indicative of the low inventory issues that we're experiencing. And the available inventory dropped by 3.3% compared to the same time a year ago. So again, this data speaks to the housing shortage that we are still experiencing. So it's no surprise, given this data, that it continues to be a seller's market in the state of Wisconsin, with low inventory and continued price appreciation. In terms of Wisconsin rankings, it was noted at the event that Wisconsin ranks 8th in the nation with the highest property tax burden, and Wisconsin ranks 2nd in the Midwest with the highest tax burden. So these are not the rankings that we want, right? We don't want to be 8th in the nation with having the highest property tax bills and 2nd in the Midwest with the highest property tax bills. So for those property owners in Wisconsin, many of you, like me, were definitely feeling that tax burden when we opened up our tax bills this past December, right? So it was quite the shocker for many, as the property tax burdens have increased significantly. In some cases, 10, 20% or more, 30%, 40, 50%. And we're definitely feeling a pinch of that. So along with the tax increases, with health care, insurance costs have also increased significantly. This is creating additional financial burdens on many homeowners and property owners. across the board. Now, I was reading in a Wall Street Journal article a couple of weeks ago where the article said that the healthcare insurance costs are now more expensive than some mortgage payments for many property owners. Imagine that. You're paying more for health insurance than your mortgage? The article cited a case of two homeowners whose monthly health insurance bill went from $255 a month to $2,155 a month, almost triple their mortgage payment. Now that is a huge increase. That's a $1,900 a month increase. That's a lot, folks. And I'm guessing their income or their wages didn't increase by $1,900 a month. But now they have this newly added healthcare expense of an additional almost $2,000 a month that they have to pay in order to keep their health insurance. And this is a topic that Governor Evers also spoke to and briefly touched on at the RGD Realtor and Government Day in Madison this year concerning increased healthcare insurance costs that are affecting homeowners and property owners across the board. If you have insurance payment that has gone up double, triple the amount, and it's more than your mortgage, that's a huge concern, right? There were other reports, according to this Wall Street Journal article, of middle income earners now paying over $3,400 a month for health insurance costs. Can you imagine paying almost $3,500 a month for health insurance if you were previously paying $400 or $500 a month? Now you're being asked to pay over $3,000 or more a month for health insurance? There used to be a time when the mortgage was your most expensive bill. House payment and car payments were your most expensive bills. Now insurance, health insurance surpasses that. We're living in a time where everything seems to be going up except wages. Many folks are scratching their heads like, well, where's the money coming from? Where's the money going to come from? How am I going to pay for this? When you've got increased expenses, increased tax burdens, and other monthly expenses, financial burdens, but your wages haven't gone up. Your income hasn't gone up. Maybe your income has decreased. If you're self-employed or if you're in a business that relies on sales, your income may have decreased and went down, but everything else is going up. So this adds yet another layer of increased expenses and financial burdens for many homeowners, home buyers, and property owners across the board. Add this in with rising utility costs. And I mentioned utility costs because utility costs have gone through the roof, right? If you're a property owner, if you're or even if you're a renter, but I'm focusing on property owners for the purposes of this recording. So if you're paying for utility costs, such as water, sewer, you're paying the water, sewer bills, you're paying heat and electric. If you have a rental property or if you have rental properties where heat is included or electric is included, or you're paying, all these common area utilities or other utility costs, then firsthand that utility costs have gone through the roof, right? And, inflation has been crazy and you haven't been able to keep up with it all. And if you have below market rents or rents that aren't sufficient to absorb all the costs, then what do? We've seen a lot of sellers putting their rental properties on the market primarily because of the tax burden in Wisconsin. The tax bills are too high. They're just too high. And the rents are too low. The rents are already maxed out. You can't go any higher or you can't go too much higher. So their only way out is to either raise the rents or sell the property. And so where does that leave home buyers and homeowners? Well, many homeowners are staying put. They're not moving because they can't afford to. Or the prices are just too high, or the interest rates are higher than their current rate. And as far as home buyers are concerned, they're simply delaying the purchase process until they can save up more money because they don't have enough down payment money, or again, interest rates are too high, or they're just priced out of the market. Today's average first-time buyer is 40 years old, and the median price for a home is $325,000. Now, compared to 10 years ago, when the median price of a home was $155,000, the average age of a first-time home buyer was around 30 years old. That's quite a drop. I mean, the average home buyer has went up by 10 years, so they're 10 years older, and the average price of a home is $170,000 more than it was 10 years ago. So that's almost $200,000 increase for an average home price. And you've got first-time buyers that need more down payment money. And so they're delaying the home purchase process for 10, 20 years later. And so, if you were buying a home at, say, $150,000 with 10% down, you would need $15,000 for a down payment, right? Whereas, now that's 10 years ago, but today, with the average price of a home at $325,000, if you're putting 10% down, then how much do you need? You need $32,500. And so that's $17,500 more than you would have needed 10 years ago. And that's at a 10% down payment. If you're looking at other conventional loans that call for 20% down, then you're gonna need double that amount. Unless you're getting an FHA type of a loan or financing where you can put maybe 3%, 3 or 3.5%, somewhere between 3 and 5% down, or if you're getting a VA loan with no money down. But unless you're getting those types of financing or other financial assistance, grant programs and whatnot, bottom line, buyers need more money to afford to buy a house. And so what's the solution? Folks, we need more housing. That's right, I said it. We need more housing. We need more housing. So according to the RGD Realtor and Government Day report, Wisconsin needs at least 140,000 new homes by the year 2030 to meet the current demand. Folks, that's less than 5 years away. That's 4 years from now. So again, Wisconsin needs at least 140,000 new homes by the year 2030 just to meet the current demand. And Wisconsin also needs 20,000 new permits annually to meet market demand. So that's because of the decrease in new home permits. So we need new homes. We need new construction. We need starter homes. We need starter homes in, quote, high density neighborhoods featuring smaller lots and homes, unquote. We need starter homes. We need more starter homes. And so we're calling on builders, developers, lenders, investors, realtors to help solve this problem for our great state. In the great state of Wisconsin, we need you. We need you guys. We need all hands on deck. Again, builders, developers, lenders, investors, realtors with the connections. We need all hands on deck to help solve this problem in the next few years. And we need to start now because the clock is ticking. Time goes by very quickly. So we need to build more housing. We need more housing inventory. We're also calling on state legislators and state representatives to help pass related housing supply bills. And so specifically, there are 6 bills that were highlighted at this event that are on the table in the legislature. And these bills will help with property tax relief and housing supply issues. And so I'll put them on the screen so you can see them, but they are respectively these 6 bills. So they go by AB, which stands for Assembly Bill 194, SB Senate Bill 180, which is the WIDA Loan Modifications Bill. And then there's AB 451, SB 480, Residential Tax Incremental Districts. And then we have AB 202 and SB 206, the Cobley Solution. And I want to highlight this particular Assembly Bill 202 and Senate Bill 206 for the Cobley solution bill. So if you're a Wisconsin property owner or a Wisconsin landlord, this bill is very important because it helps to keep our rental market stable and prevents landlords from exiting the marketplace. Everyone can't, unfortunately, everyone can't be a homeowner. Now, we'd love to see everyone become homeowners eventually. That's the goal. We want to help everyone purchase a home. But currently, there are renters and there are homeowners. We'll always have a nice mix of renters and owners in neighborhoods. And so with the Cobley court case aftermath, we want to continue to stand up for landlord rights and tenant rights as well. And we want to protect both landlords and tenants and also help landlords continue to survive. And so this case is very important for that cause. So, the original case is Coble and Marcourt, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, from 2024. And so look it up if you'd like more information. I've spoken on it. I've written on it a few times in various articles. And it's very, very important case that went all the way to the state Supreme Court, and I believe there is an appeal that's pending or being filed. And so I just wanted to highlight this case. We definitely want to support the housing bills previously mentioned, and again ask the state legislators and state representatives to help pass these bills. And once again, these bills will help with the property tax relief, and they will help address the property tax burdens that many of us are experiencing, and they'll also help with the housing supply and housing shortage issues. So very important that we help support these bills, and that our legislators and representatives help to pass these housing supply related bills. So we encourage you to reach out to your Wisconsin state legislators and representatives for more information. And then for a map of the state, Senate, and Assembly districts, if you want to find out who your representatives are, then click on the link. I'll put that in the on the screens as well, and it'll show where you can find out who your representatives are. So again, if you live in Wisconsin, or if you're a property owner in Wisconsin, you want to click that link to find out who your representatives are with the maps. And you can go to maps.legis.wisconsin.gov, but there'll be a link in the screen for you to click on or to go to that website and get more information. And so the link is called Wisconsin State Legislature, Who Represents Me? Who represents me? So again, click on that link or go to that website link to get more information and find out who your Wisconsin state representatives are. And I just want to send a shout out to Marnie Stu at the Greater Milwaukee Association of Realtors, otherwise known as GMAR, or who sent me this link and the related information. So thank you so much. And thanks for all that you guys do at the GMAR, Greater Milwaukee Association of Realtors. Shout out once again to Marty Stu, Mike Ruzicka, Scott Bush, and all the great folks and the great work that you continue to do. It is greatly appreciated. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention at the state level, at the Wisconsin Realtors Association, Corey Lamont, Jennifer Lindsley, Amy Curler, and Tom Larson at the Wisconsin Realtors Association, otherwise referred to as the WRA, for all the great work, immensely great work that you guys do and continue to do, and all the information that was extracted and shared at the RGD Realtor and Government Day in Madison this year, and ongoing information, data, and stats that are released to the Realtor membership and general public. So just shout out to all you guys, and please forgive me if I missed anyone. I really hate to get into name calling because then you forget someone. And believe me, it's not intentional. Please just charge it to my head and not my heart. Please forgive me again if I fail to mention someone, because it's definitely not intentional. I am just horrible with names. When I was at this RGD event, There were a few people at the event that, I couldn't remember their names and I couldn't see their name tag. So I felt horrible. I felt horrible. And I was, we were talking and I was trying to look for their name tag so I could, at least call their name out, but I couldn't remember. So, so again, please forgive me. And, again, just shout out to everyone for all of the hard work that you do for our real estate communities, behind and in front of the scenes. It is immensely appreciated. We appreciate everything that you guys do. Words just can't express the appreciation because you're making our real estate communities better each and every day. And we're going to continue to pound the pavement and fight the good fight for our clients and customers and for the real estate communities and neighborhoods and residents of the great state of Wisconsin. All right, folks, with that said, that will bring this discussion and this session to a close. I hope that you enjoy the information and trust that you found this information to be useful and valuable. As always, I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Sonia's Real Estate Connection and Hot Topics. And of course, I always like to provide the source of the information from today's show for those inquiring minds that want to know. The information was derived from the 2026 Realtor and Government Day in Madison, from Metro MLS and from the WRA.org. And of course, the information will be displayed on the screen as well with the complete information and sources for today's episode. Again, it's always a pleasure to serve our listening audience and viewers as we seek to educate and empower you to help you make an informed, educated decision concerning your real estate transaction, business practice, and to keep up to date with all the latest and greatest developments and information in the real estate industry. Thank you again for tuning into the show. It's always an honor and a pleasure to serve in this capacity. If you'd like to reach us by phone, please feel free to give us a call toll free at 844-777-7725. Again, that toll free number is 844-777-7725, or you may reach us at the office number of 414-395-8771. Again, that office number is 414-395-8771. Or visit our website at MidwestExecutiveRealty.com. Again, that website is MidwestExecutiveRealty.com. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. Until we meet again, make it a great day. And may you always be safe, healthy, and be well. God bless.